pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Tim.
Welcome.
Minutes, November 8th.
22nd, actually.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's the wrong date on the agenda. It's the 22nd.
Make a motion to accept?
Second.
Motion made to accept minutes November 22nd. All those in favor? Old business? Yes, Gary.
Well, I know we talked about a street light down on Jewel Street somewhere earlier. And I was curious, I'm not looking to reopen that, but I'm interested in looking at what is the cost of one street light, and if we had an extension and it was owned by the town, because presently we're renting from Central Maine Power, aren't we?
Correct.
And,
We don't own them.
We don't own them, no.
But we do have the opportunity to own one if we wish. And I understand Maine State statutes allows or gives the permission to the town to own a little bit of spot on every pole, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, the reason why I raised the issue was because at the top of Jay Hill, we had a fatality, a double fatality up there recently. And I was going through there and I thought, geez, wouldn't it be good if it had a light there and maybe might have averted that, because that 2-lane highway, as we all know, converges back into one. But what happened was that other person was still thinking it was a two-lane highway, I guess. I don't know.
I'm
But I'm
not
thinking-
sure that's,
No, the other way.
I don't think so. He was going north, like up through there, not south.
So who hit him south, coming south, in that lane?
Go ahead, Donna.
Okay, according to Chief Caton, the guy that allegedly struck the vehicle where the 2 people died was passing.
Yes.
Right,
So
so
he was
it
passing,
wasn't,
going
No,
south?
going
North.
north.
He was going north.
So he was passing where there was no lane to pass.
Correct.
He was passing on the right.
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 Oh, okay.
Wow.
I don't know if he was passing on the right, but he was
Right.
passing.
Pass it.
And then no passing
Right,
area.
Pass
and
on the
he
left.
tried to back off, but it was too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like going up the hill, and then he passed a car in front of me somewhere up through there.
But anyway, I just thought it might be a good idea to investigate the possibility of having a street like that that might avert some of that in the future. I just,
And there is a street light right at the,
right at the corner
Summit.
of Old J Road, and then one further up. But in that area where that accident occurred, there's no
Yeah, the
light
one
there
at
at all.
Hilltop Street
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
nothing in Hilltop.
Yeah, not at Hilltop itself, but that street prior to Hilltop has a light at the end of it.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. And the old one
It
does.
doesn't put up.
Anyway, I would just put it out there for discussion and see if we'd look into the possibility of averting another fatality if we could. If that's all it would take, then maybe. I don't know. Pretty hard to get an explanation from the 2 people who passed away.
Don't we have a committee or something that was put together about street lights?
We did when it was active, it was,
It was a cost-saving measure from what I
right,
understand.
right.
It wasn't about safety or anything, it was about saving
Okay.
money.
Well,
Just
they-
Well,
curious.
well,
they
no.
did look at, yeah.
Yeah, they did look at safety in there. I wasn't on the committee, but
Right.
Right.
they did look at the safety.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't just totally cost on that. And people did have the chance to
weigh in
also
on-
pay for that if they wanted to keep it and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
but-
And there were a couple that were relocated
Yeah.
when we did it, that people looked at it and said, well, it would make more sense if that was here instead of there. So the safety piece was a factor in it too.
There's no properties right in that area you're talking about though. That's just straight Route 4, right?
Right at the top of it, before you get to the garage, was where the accident occurred, from what I understand, which is past the, it's almost in front of the town garage, just before you get to it. but across the street
Across from
from
that street.
our road.
I'm not sure
Right,
exactly
yeah.
where it happened, where they hit.
Well, this memorial,
At the intersection, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Richard had said in front of Hillside Collision, but I'm wondering if it was more in front of the highway department.
right.
It was right in that.
It's pretty lit up, the highway department lights that whole area up pretty well.
It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, come
you
down
can't fix a
there.
guy driving in the wrong lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay. Next, RSU 73 school board vacancy. I know we have a lot of names, people that volunteered to
glad to see you got so much interest.
Yeah.
serve this out, and you're right, there's 8 of them.
Nine.
9, that's
Nine.
right, we have one
Because
more.
we had one, so the agenda came out on Thursday, and then on Friday, they had till 4 o'clock on Friday, and we had one additional one on Friday.
Okay.
Do you wanna go through the names, just so everybody knows?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we had Ronald Gay, Pamela Rangel, Elizabeth Marquis, Esther Nolan, Chantel Woodcock, Brandy Galgano, Brianna Simeon Del Campo, Taylor Gay, and Paul Gilbert. So we've got just everybody's name, same size paper. Raylene double checked them just to make sure that we had everybody. So they're all in this little thing, and if the board's still agreeable to just drawing a name.
Yeah.
Easiest way to do it.
As long as you draw out the most qualified candidate.
I'm just going to,
How many are we filling, just one?
just one.
Just one spot right now is open.
There's no alternate spot.
Read it. Brandy Galgano, one name I wasn't sure how to say. So we'll contact her tomorrow and let her know. So this seat gets filled until the town meeting election in April. And I meant to print a copy of the timeline. In January, we have it right there?
The timeline?
Yes, perfect, okay. So January 18th, nomination papers are available for the school board seats that are open. So if any of these people, and anyone that had emailed me, I sent them this information already, but in case you talk to anyone, that's when nomination papers are available, and then they're due back on February 25th. And then whoever has, qualifies, has the number of signatures and everything, then their name will go on the ballot for the April town meeting.
So Brandy will
this
be
seat-
made aware that she's just
Yes.
during
Yep.
that time
Yep.
period,
Do we
right?
need a motion to appoint her?
Yep,
Yep.
You didn't second it, Tom?
I'll make a motion to appoint Brandy, how do you pronounce that?
Galgano.
Okay,
There it is.
motion made and seconded, all those in favor? Next was the medical marijuana storefront. We're gonna postpone that till probably next time. The person called and could not make it. Next is Polymer system, Livermore Falls sewer treatment. Any questions for Mark on that?
How's it flowing? It was flowing when I left, Tom. It was just a few minutes ago.
So,
Yep.
most of the expenses are gonna be shared by the town of Jay.
No. Nope, it's come from the joint reserve account that both towns fund. So I need the approval of both boards to expend those funds. At first, when we looked at this, I had a bad case of sticker shock because of
Yeah.
what it was gonna entail, doing more work on it, getting the rep up here and looking at it, seeing what we need. I think this system for the $9,800 is going to suit our needs, and it gives us room to expand later if we want to. Once we get the upgrade done and get the polymer system moved to its final location, if we want to put in a conditioning tank and spend the extra money, then we can. If we don't want to, we don't have to. This system will be comparable to what we've had for the last 23 years, which has worked fine. It's just old and worn out.
So it hasn't been part of the original proposal when the upgrade.
That's
to
correct.
Include that.
That's correct.
This came as a,
We were hoping to get more life out of this. A lot of the equipment is not being replaced as part of the upgrade. We're just doing basically the primary side of the treatment process, and this would be kind of the secondary side, so.
But this is the same kind of system that would have been proposed if, in fact, it's not different than another system other than this, right?
No,
Okay.
no.
'Cause I know there's a rack system and then there's other systems.
Yep.
I don't know all the details about the systems and everything they utilize, but I know that what we're talking about here, I've heard you speak about at something like that time, so.
Yep.
Sludge removal and all that.
Once we get everything installed, then we can make a decision if we want to put in an aging or conditioning tank, which will save us about 20% of polymer use going forward. That's an additional $16,000 roughly at this point in time. It'll take 4 or 5 years to get the payback on that from the polymer savings itself. So at this point in time, all we need is this regular system that'll replace what we've got.
Hey, Mark, that's the cost of, sorry,
No, okay, go ahead.
$9,800 today is what you're looking for from the
From the joint reserve account.
reserve
yes.
account?
Yep.
Anybody else got any questions or comments?
And Livermore Falls gonna make a similar contribution, or is this?
No.
No.
Both
They'll approve the expenditure from the joint reserve account.
Yep.
Yep. Pending you doing the same here tonight.
Okay,
So I believe it's next Tuesday night is their meeting, is that right?
Yes.
that's what I was thinking.
So we'll bring it up at that
Contingent
meeting.
On what we do.
Yeah.
other than-
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So make a motion?
Anybody else got any other questions or comments?
No, I heard enough old already.
Make a motion
Too
to
much,
approve
huh?
the new polymer system for $9,800 and to take this from the joint reserve account, and which also has to be approved by Livermore Falls.
Second, all on the whole thing.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor?
Okay.
Next, sewer easement line cost allocation. Anybody got any questions on that, or? Nobody has any
Just a
questions?
slightly better split than it used
Yes.
to be.
Yes.
As far as J goes, we used to be at 98% of that, right?
Right. You're right.
All right.
Yep. They're looking through it. There is another, it refers to that section in a longer detail that comes out down on the Foundry Road. This is more defined. It's not a huge difference, but it's more accurate for allocation cost. It's fair to each town.
Yep.
And it should, like I stated in here, it should become part of the agreement eventually, but we'll note it on Appendix C until we actually amend the agreement itself. Once we get enough items and whatnot, we'll probably have to do that. But for now, if both towns can just agree to that, I'll be bringing this to the Livermore Falls Board as well next Tuesday night, so. It requires your approval and their approval, and then we can get our bills paid on this.
Anybody got any questions, comments?
You want to hear any more about it, Tim? Are you good?
No, I'm all set.
Good enough already.
I heard it a couple Thursdays ago.
So you are well informed?
I'm well informed.
Good.
I'll make a motion to approve the 91% J, 9% Livermore Falls for the sewer easement line cost allocation based on the acceptance of Livermore Falls also.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor?
Thank you.
Next time it's gonna be a 50-50 split.
Gotta get Livermore Falls to agree.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it doesn't get done, right?
That's correct.
And then if it
Then
doesn't-
I have to come back to you again, so you don't have to listen to my spiel one more time.
Thanks.
Thank
He
you,
doesn't wanna
Mark.
hear it, he doesn't wanna hear it.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else on here?
No. All right. Appointment
Have a
of,
nice holiday.
appointment of members to the budget committee.
You got any more minutes and a half?
No, we've got lots of seats on this one.
You do.
Any questions, comments? Motions?
So we're looking at 3 members to be appointed permanently and 1 as a alternate.
Alternate, yep.
I move that Kendra Baker, Beth Wright, Esther Nolan be appointed as regular positions on the Budget Committee, and that Darrell White be,
Winter.
Darrell
Darrell
Winter.
Winter, I'm sorry, be designated as the alternate.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor?
And so we still have one alternate position available if anybody knows anyone that would like to be on that committee.
Next, property donation on the Moss Hill Road. I think everybody has got a copy of the little picture there. Of 0.3 acres. What did John have to say, anything about the piece of land?
Well, we talked about it because there's drainage that runs off the hill and runs across the road there onto this little piece of land. And so the lady that owns it had contacted the town and said, I can't really do anything with it. If the town would be willing to take it, I'd sign it over. So John and I had talked about it, and he said, it's just as a drainage, accepting it and just continuing to use it for drainage would make sense, so that's why it's in front of you now.
So is it just that little
Tiny little number
B
12.
area?
Yep,
Number 12?
the little,
Who owns the 105 though? Instead of the,
lot 11, I think is the Morses, I believe.
mhm.
And I had talked to her, I said, is it something you'd want to approach the abutters that they
Yeah,
might be
right.
interested in purchasing? And I don't know if she had or she just wasn't interested in doing that. She would rather just be done. She says I think it's $36 maybe a year in taxes, and
Yeah,
she doesn't
38.
want to let it, just not pay it and let it foreclose, because she doesn't want to affect her credit, by
Right.
letting it go. So
Get
she
that.
would prefer if we could do it this way.
And what does John think how it would benefit us? I mean, because of the drainage, they'd be able to do something?
Well, just continue, it's drainage already, that's where the drainage has gone. He said for 40-plus years that he knows about, that's where the drainage has been. So there's really no, she says there's no place to build, there's no really use for it. So if the town owned it and continued to use it for drainage, it would just be a piece that we had that we recognize is just used for drainage.
Okay.
And this would have to go in front of the town to vote on
Right, it
to
would have to be
accept
on
it.
the April warrant.
Usually,
Yep.
we can accept donations, but not land.
Right, property.
Right.
See, I do listen.
So you need a motion to put it on a warrant,
Please.
so moved.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor? Next, HVAC project.
Looking at me?
Yeah.
Well, there was two other people that were there as
Either
well.
one wants to do that.
So today was the day to have the request for qualifications. We're due back by noon. We ended up getting just one. And I brought in who it was. It's CVAL Innovations, so CVAL Innovations LLC,
Where they at?
Texas. It's a company that Larry has worked with before, and they were the one that did the project at Gould Academy.
Old Academy, yeah.
Yeah, so they've had some work in this area before.
How was that advertised to put out there? Was it in the papers for a bit?
It was, no, we didn't put it in the
I
paper,
mean,
we sent it out
qualifications.
to, I think there was 5 or 6 companies that it was sent directly to that were,
Okay.
kind of pre-vetted, that we knew were qualified. We actually were expecting 3, there was 2 others that said that they had that confirmed they'd received it and were anticipating responding, so I thought we were gonna get 3, but we only ended up with 1. There was another local company that said that they were too busy and couldn't do it. And talking with Larry, it was kind of, he said he's not real surprised by that because the contractors are so busy right
Yeah,
now that.
Right.
So we met Tom and Gary, myself, Larry, Rhonda, and Chief met today and just kind of went over what was submitted and what the kind of process is. So the next steps would be to talk to the company to find out what the estimated cost would be to do the next step, which is the air quality assessment and like the on-site type
Right.
inspection.
Engineer, yeah.
And then to get an estimate to do that work and an estimate on the total design project, and then to kind of get a ballpark idea of what the project cost would be. So Larry's going to reach out to them to get that information. We've got another meeting scheduled for the 21st of December to go over that information and see where we go from there.
Schedule-wise, is everything still on target?
So far,
Yeah, good.
yeah. So, you guys have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I think our greatest concern at the time is the overall cost of the project in proportion to the size of the building and whether or not it's gonna meet our needs. And if it far exceeds our needs and costs too much, then we may not do it at all. That's my personal feeling, and I think that was a
Second.
consensus.
Yeah.
Consensus of the other people in the room too, that,
Yeah.
you know, but we'll wait and see what those figures are, so we didn't wanna
Well,
We didn't want
this
to
next,
publicize them today.
this next step that they're gonna give us price on is what
We'll determine.
is my concerning. If that comes out as much as it is to just change the vac systems we've got,
Yeah.
Yeah.
poor guy just goes with what he can afford.
And this is still part of the ARPA money, right? Is the-
Potentially, yeah, that's why we're
yeah.
looking at it, as
Right.
potentially part of that. Yeah.
Very good.
Anything else on that?
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Other business, Chief Caton, through the government surplus, has picked up a couple trucks for us, and through them it is zero cost when you get it from the government surplus. We do have to pay to get them here, but, so, and they should be coming. Well, he had to get them out, he had to make the decision like ASAP, to either, or the next people were gonna take them, so. We got
And
them
what-
coming, it's
what
just for your
government-
information.
What government's that coming from?
US government.
You know, no, I mean, sometimes the state of Maine has,
Oh,
state
yeah, no,
government
this
has,
is a
so.
Federal.
This is
The
a federal.
Thank you.
Federal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dates for following events, December 13th. We people had that meeting already, so. December 15th, you're having another meeting on HVAC, correct?
21st.
December 21st.
Oh, 21st.
That one, the December 15th is the executive session.
Oh, yeah, have four.
Yep.
Yeah. December 23rd and the 24th, the town office is closed. 25th, transfer station closed. 27th, select board meeting 6 at the town office. December 31st, town office closed. January 1st, transfer station closed. Curbside collection the weeks of Christmas and New Year's will follow the regular schedule.
And I move we go into executive session on MRS Title I, Chapter 13, Section 405, subsection 6D, negotiations, all, and 6A for personnel issue employment.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor?